Live only on DAZN, he silenced Britain's best. Usyk, the Brit breaker, but now the dynamite is ready to explode. One night, one shot at undisputed. Usyk versus Dubois 2, July 19th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
3 reasons why Daniel Dubois beats Oleksandr Usyk. In this video, we are going to talk about some of the key factors, I think, as to why Daniel Dubois may win this fight. Understand, these are just my kind of keys to victory or things you can pick up on from said fighters. It's not necessarily a prediction video. Prediction video is going to come later on in the week. I will be doing 3 reasons as to why Oleksandr Usyk beats Daniel Dubois as well. But we are going to start with the underdog. And Daniel Dubois is a live underdog, if nothing else. He may very well be the underdog, of course. He lost the first fight. It's only been 2 years. It's not been an eternity. He is a more confident fighter as opposed to necessarily being an improved fighter. What I mean by that is, he looks similar to how he's always looked, but there's a lot more confidence in Daniel Dubois. He seems to have a lot more stability in himself, I guess, in terms of how he, takes things from a mental aspect. He doesn't seem as rattled. I'm not saying rattled, but he doesn't seem as erratic mentally in the ring as he did at one stage, well, certainly in the Oleksandr Usyk first fight. But that's not one of the reasons why I think he beats Oleksandr Usyk. I think there are 3 very, very good factors as to why Daniel Dubois beats Oleksandr Usyk, and we're going to talk about one of them right now. The first is, now, understand that in the first fight, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the WBA and the referee and many others, Daniel Dubois hit Oleksandr Usyk low. He did. But that's not to say that Oleksandr Usyk wasn't feeling the weight of some of those body shots from Daniel Dubois. He certainly was. Recently, myself and Ade went back and watched AJ versus Usyk 2. And it was a clear Usyk win, although it was a more competitive fight than the first fight. Much more competitive. It was a good performance by Anthony Joshua. And one thing Anthony Joshua did very well, and it's another thing you have to ask the question about with Oleksandr Usyk, is body work. AJ was able to attack the body of Oleksandr Usyk very well in that fight. Very, very well. And I suspect Daniel Dubois will do the same. Now, Oleksandr Usyk in the first fight with Dubois was able to make adjustments after, the body shots went in. But having said that, this is an older Oleksandr Usyk, and I think Dubois is going to be wise to target that body. And why do I think Oleksandr Usyk has a weak body? Well, here's a couple of clips from his amateur career. Have a look there on screen. There are 2 respective fights from his amateur career. There's a body shot that goes in. That was in 2011. You see it there. Lovely body shot, actually, as well. Oleksandr Usyk felt that, turns away, and the referee administers a count. Now you're going to see one in the next fight. This will be against Artur Beterbiev. We all know who Artur Beterbiev is. Oleksandr Usyk in blue takes a body shot. Looks a little bit innocuous, but again, it's Artur Beterbiev hitting you, so it doesn't matter what size gloves they are. Artur Beterbiev is still hitting you. And down goes Oleksandr Usyk. Now, they are 2 instances in the amateurs. As a pro, he's never touched down. Never really even seemed noticeably stunned by a headshot. But to the body, Usyk has been made to look uncomfy at times. And one thing Tyson Fury didn't do enough of in his respective fight. Tyson Fury, when he fought Usyk, tried to keep it at long range, tried to keep him at a distance. Anthony Joshua, in their rematch, did try and attack the body of Oleksandr Usyk, and he had success doing it. Dubois needs to, from early on, and he needs to be careful of the shots, because at the end of the day, he spoke about wanting to do whatever it takes to win going into the first Oleksandr Usyk fight, and surely that puts some doubt, and it puts some, I don't want to say bias, that's the wrong word, but surely Louis Pabon, the referee, would have been looking for stuff that he deemed fouls. If you say you're going to do it, well, the referee is there to stop you doing it. So I hope with Dubois, if he does go to Oleksandr Usyk's body, he's very smart with it. He invests in it early because it'll pay dividends. At the end of the day, Usyk's weapons are his legs. He's got some of the best legs in boxing. He's able to move. He's got quick feet. He's got great stamina. How do you take that away? You go to the body. You hit him in the body. So that's the first bit. And let's have a look at Daniel Dubois' body work against Jarrell Miller here. Look at this lovely uppercut on the inside. Miller, yeah, you can't hurt me. Ooh, in goes the body shot. Dubois has always throughout the course of his career thrown body shots, and he's really hurting Jarrell Miller in there as well, actually. That's something else we're going to talk about later on in this video. Miller being defiant, but Dubois he ain't playing around. Dubois certainly in that fight wasn't playing around. Look at the short hooks. Look at that. You forget how much of a beating he put on Jarrell Miller in that last round. Miller was absolutely spent by then as well. So that's the first one, right? Now, the second part is an interesting part. One thing Daniel Dubois made a big mistake on in the first fight, and I spoke about it in a separate video, was he was too standoffish with Oleksandr Usyk, I felt. When you look at someone like a Derek Chisora, although he couldn't maintain that sort of pace, he was able to put it on Oleksandr Usyk early in that fight. And you could see Oleksandr Usyk in that fight. He was kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? You know, a little bit shell-shocked, because no one's ever really done it like that to Oleksandr Usyk. No one's put it on him like that. Many have said that they would. AJ, I think, even said he would. But ultimately, he didn't, right? He ultimately didn't. Dubois in that first fight was very standoffish. He doesn't need to be like that. And normally, Dubois can actually be quite aggressive, as you'll see here. Here are two clips. They're both from the Anthony Joshua fight. Look there on screen. There's the first clip. Big looping right hand, lands on Anthony Joshua. And Daniel Dubois is right up at Anthony Joshua there as well. He was not playing around. Puts Anthony Joshua down heavy with that right hand. And AJ does well to get to his feet, but as soon as the second round starts, look at this from Dubois. He is literally on it like a car bonnet instantly in that second round. Jabs, right hand, no fear. Look at that. Now, if he does something, oh, look at that. If he does something like that to Oleksandr Usyk, look at those shots he's landed on AJ. He did well to stand up to them, AJ, to be fair. He really did. But Dubois is not playing around. And that is what Dubois needs to do. And I think he can do it. I think he will do it against Oleksandr Usyk. Use effective aggression. At the end of the day, Oleksandr Usyk is one of the greatest boxers you'll ever see in the heavyweight division. He's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, win or lose. All right, and he is, and that's just the fact. All right, his career speaks for itself. He is a tremendous boxer. He makes you think in the ring. In the nicest way, the best way to probably beat him, I would say, is to just try and not think. Just be like, don't care. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. I am going for the jugular with this guy. I am going to put it on him. I am physically stronger than him, and I say Daniel Dubois is the physically bigger of the well, he's definitely the physically bigger of the two, but he should be the stronger of the two. If he does something like that early on, you might call it kamikaze, but I think it's a great way to potentially gain him the win. So if he does that, puts on Usyk early and goes to the body, there are two very good reasons as to why I think he can win. And the final reason is an interesting one, because we always talk about Oleksandr Usyk's stamina, which is incredible, by the way. His stamina is absolutely phenomenal. Oleksandr Usyk, one of the best gas tanks you'll ever see for any heavyweight. He really is phenomenal. So is Daniel Dubois. Let's go back to that Miller fight. Last 30 seconds of the Jarrell Miller fight, and look what Daniel Dubois is doing in there. He's backing Miller up. Dubois taking some shots in that fight as well. If you go back and look at that, Miller had his success. But Dubois, in round 10, pouring on, showing no signs of tiring, absolutely none. Big hook goes in, Miller goes back, looks at the referee. Dubois putting it on, throwing the shots, boom, boom. Referee jumps in and stops it. That's the end of a 10th round in which Daniel Dubois had to fight to keep Jarrell Miller off him. That's a fight in which Daniel Dubois had a lot of scary moments in there. He had moments where you were thinking, oh God, is he going to capitulate? And even then, he still kept punching. Come round 10, he had enough in the tank and enough power in those shots to be able to put a dent on Jarrell Miller, who does have a good chin, but he was hurt. He wasn't able to punch with Daniel Dubois. He wasn't able to defend himself, and Daniel Dubois went in there and got the stoppage. We talk about Oleksandr Usyk's stamina. Daniel Dubois in the first fight never got into the final. He never got into the championship rounds, which is Usyk's rounds. They're his, bread and butter. If Daniel Dubois can take the air out of Usyk's sails and he can maintain a good pace, he could really come on strong in the end of this fight. And I think there's a very good chance that he will. So there are my three reasons. Daniel Dubois' stamina, his pressure, and the body attacks, not just from Daniel Dubois, but the perceived weakness to the body of Oleksandr Usyk. There are three reasons why I think Daniel Dubois beats Oleksandr Usyk. But they're just why I think Dubois beats Oleksandr Usyk. Stay tuned and have a listen to my video, which will go out tomorrow most likely, on three reasons why I think Oleksandr Usyk beats Daniel Dubois. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll leave it there. Peace.